Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. G'day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your migration consultant on YouTube. Now today's video I would like to take you to the 491 chapter to the ACT Canberra, where Canberra and the Australian Capital Territory does provide a different matrix which is very different to all the other states. It will take a while because we are going to go into the depth of the guideline where we could actually know what is required. Now, before we begin, what is 491 visa? 491 visa is a skilled regional work visa, which the Australian government had opened up the opportunity since 2019 November 16th, where predominantly a skilled worker or skilled graduates who had studied abroad in Australia could actually obtain a 5-year visa, which also had the capability to give you Medicare to actually reside in what they call designated regional area in Australia for 5 years, which is the same length of a permanent residence visa. Now, during the 5 years time, as long as you complete a 3-year of full-time or a annual wage of $53,900, you will be able to transfer into the actual permanent residence visa under the subclass of 191 in 2022. Okay, now how are you going to do it? Can you be nominated? And you are required to be nominated by a state or territory. So today we're going to ACT and see how you can actually benefit from ACT and how you can actually calculate the points or matrix that allow you to meet the criteria. Now, okay, let's just jump in. Now, as you can see, we are right at the Canberra ACT's website, where they periodically publish the invitation round. So now they're at the January 9th round. So now that's not our detail what we're going to talk about the rounds, but as you can see, ACT has started the 491 visa procedures. The detail that we wanted to go in is actually the guideline of 491 or 190. Now we're going to focus more on 491 as there's not more quota be given to 491 rather than the actual 190. So there has been a lot of people experiencing delay and wait while they're doing 190 or 189. The reason of it is basically the quota has been halved since the last financial year. So and because it's halved, obviously people want to go there. The queue and delay will be much longer. Okay, so let's have a look. Let me magnify the actual guidelines so we can go in there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in there and see what the criteria that you actually can gain for 491 visa. Now ACT is a bit of a pain because it does provide a lot of differences rather than compared to a lot of other states where they're only giving you a specific occupational list, skill occupational list. So it's quite easy to follow. Now ACT is a bit hard because they do have their own calculations. Now let me jump to that page there. So 190 is not what we're looking at. Okay, now this is what the new one. So in part 3, Canberra matrix scoring for Canberra residents. So what does that mean? It means that if you're already living and staying in Canberra, you may be holding graduate temporary visa, or you may holding any other visas. Student visa allows you to stay and live in Canberra. Now this is for you. So if you're already in Canberra and you go for 491, here we go. Okay, so basically they give you a different type of score. So the first one is the length of your residency in Canberra. Okay, so if you have been there for 5 years plus, you get 25 points. In 4 year 20 point, 3 year 15 point, 2 year 10 point, 1 year for 5 point. Now how do you evidence and show that you have actually lived in there? And here we go. There's you need to show your bank statements, records of living away or each year residency claim. So you may have your leases, rental, if you study interstate or 1 or 2 days per week. Some people do that because they periodically need to go to New South Wales. You need to put all that claim there. Okay, so you cannot claim ACT residency for any period of time you have lived, work interstate or overseas, and you have to live there 30. You can live within a 30-minute commute to Canberra. So if you live further away, then probably you will not be counted as a resident of Canberra. Now English. Now, if you have superior, that's IELTS 8, you get 15 points. Provision 10 point, competent 0 point. If your spouse has English proficiency of superior proficient, you get 5 point. On that, you get 0 point. And nominating occupation. Now we're gonna go back to there. Now it's a whole lot of different skill occupation lists. So they got their own matrix of counting points, and they also got their differentiator of what they call open and closed list. So we will show you there, but we won't not go into detail. But if you do want to have a look, Google it, or if you can find it, leave a comment down below. I'll send that to you. Okay, so if you're on the open list, so you get 20 points. Other than that, no. Okay, length of act. Length of that's an act, that's a ACT. Okay, so not act. So how long have you been working in Canberra? So if you've been employed for 12 months plus, you get 10 points. 6 months, you get 5 points. So how do they count that? While employment does not have to be full-time, you must complete at least 20 hours per week to be counted there. And you may be self-employed with a ABN. Your gross wage income exceeds $500 per week, then you can claim that as well. If a business has been operating in Canberra at least 12 months, so if the business has been less than that, you cannot be counted too. Okay. Now, going further down, you're working your nominated occupation. So you can work for other type of occupations, but if you work at your occupation, which is open at the open list, so there's an open list of occupations, there's a closed list of occupations, you get that 20 points. And if you're prime holder of 4574 or 482, that's a TSS visa, you get 15 points. If you're working an occupation that is open in list and not, but is not your nominated, so you may be, for instance, you may be a graduate accountant, but you work at IT, okay, and that's in the open list, and you get 10 points. Okay, you're working in others, you get 5 points. Now the left hand side, how do you read this? Now the purpose of my video obviously is going through an intro, but not into depth. So but I wanted to give you a direction where you can find this document and go into depth. Obviously, if you go in these one and you do have any other question, you feel more than welcome to leave a comment. Okay, now skill assessment. If your spouse has a skill that's relevant in an open occupation, you get 15 points. Skill assessment level to current occupation, 10 points. Currently working in any occupation, 5 points. That's working in Canberra. Okay, tertiary occupation, you get 5 points. So all these need to be added up. Now, how these points work is the higher of the point, the government will actually invite you with the priority. Okay. Now, tertiary requirements. So if you got doctor, PhD, you get 20 points. Master, you get 15 points. Bachelor, 10 points. Diploma, you get 5 points. And years of study. So have you been there for 4 years but plus, you get 20 points. 3 years, 15, 2 year, 10 points. 1 year, 5 points. And the way to evidence those one, it's quite easy. Basically, you just take the COE, so or your transcript will show how many years you've been studying there. So another thing is that registered course over 10 professional year at ACT institution in the last 8 years, you must have a letter of ACT institution evidence, and the 2 or more courses including PY may be counted. So professional year can be counted. That means if you graduate engineer or IT or accountant, and you further on you take a PY courses, that's professional year, that can be counted as well. Now academic year is totally 46 weeks. Now close family ties, if you have families then who are Australian citizens, permanent resident, you get 20 points, and your that's for your spouse. And if you got a brother, sister, or parents or grandparents, you get 10 points. Okay, now finally, if you get assets, beautiful. You got 250,000 cash investment into ACT resident or commercial property. So if you got money invested in there, you got 5 points. And if you have injected 200,000, 200K to purchase a well-established business, you get another 5 points. And finally, if you got a third-party investment to your business, a startup ACT business of at least 200K, you get another 5 points. Okay, so that's the end for people who are already living in Canberra. Now, there are different ones for offshore. So let's go in here. So overseas applicant. Now we're gonna go in detail. Now basically they are the same. Now why is it they are still claiming that you've been living? So you may already live and work and study in Canberra, but you had left. So you probably left the US or Europe and work for a couple of years. You want to come back, and they will ask for. So have you ever been living in Canberra? So if you've been living in Canberra for 5 years, you get those points as well. So basically, all these points are identical than the one we have just gone through. The only differences is a top bit where you counted whether you have been living before. Other than that, I don't see there's any differences there. So what I'm gonna do is I've jumped back to here at the ACT website. Now we're gonna take a look at the occupation list. So just give the viewers interest party of you to actually see where you can. So it's actually right here, right underneath my right here. Okay, you see that my mouse is overlapping the ACT occupation. So I've just clicked that, and that takes you to this page where it's all down here as well. So let me click on that, and then we open it up again. Now just wait for it to be loaded. So it's ACT again. It's a very complex system where you need to find out your occupation, whether it's open or closed, and then you go to this matrix and then count it again. Once you get invited, then you go to the further to Department of Home Affairs, the counting the EOI point test system. Okay, so once you hit here, you will be able to see the occupations for open. Okay, now the first part is open. It does have some different differentiations where they have more detail required. They got caveats as well, and you can see that predominantly a lot of engineer managers in open list, engineers are in open list, botanists, biochemists, hospital pharmacists, nurses are in open. Now bear in mind, ACT is quite good compared to, for example, South Australia, where it requires nurses to have at least 5-year work experience, post qualification work experiences. Now ACT doesn't require that, but you need to beat those matrix to the highest point that you can. Okay, developers, they're all open, but they have caveat required to be met, and you can read all the way down as I have directed you to here. Now here is the close. So there's open and close. If you're working open and your nominate occupation is in an open list, obviously you get more points, but closed occupation you still do have points, and you can do that as well, but less than the open one. So grower, production manager, school principal, ICT manager, QA manager, transportation company manager, what else? Stage manager, copywriter. So it's a tax accountant, accountants that are enclosed. It's not that it doesn't mean it's closed, you can't do it, but it's in the list of closed skill occupation list. You can still do it, but you need to get potentially more work experiences to add it to the points, or perhaps you need to put more injection into, for example, those last part of the matrix that you need to purchase commercial real estate properties and invest into business and to actually gain more points here. Okay, so basically that's how you're gonna read about the whole Canberra's state nomination and 491 visas. Now they all read it together, so 491 and 190 together, but again, 190 has less quota because the ultimate quota and numbers of placement are controlled by the Home Affairs Department of Home Affairs, and then they're given back to the states. So more quota given to 491 and less quota for 190. So anyway, that's all you can do about it, and there's nothing we can do we can alter that. But anyway, if you do have any question, or more than welcome to leave a comment, and we will reply and respond back in timely manner. And should you consider to subscribe to this channel, obviously we will have more video come up in regards to the insight to the Australian visa system. So I see you in the next video. Goodbye.